Hey, it's Ray with Sober Without God. Here to talk to you today about advice for the newly sober. If you have just become alcohol free, then congratulations. If you're new on the journey, maybe you're a couple days or a week, and I just want to say congratulations. When I was newly sober, I really didn't know what to do. I thought I had to do it all at once. I try to set goals for myself, but I want to dive right in and do everything all at once. So I want to make a video for those who have just started to get sober and maybe give you some advice along the way. I want to say that I'm not a healthcare professional when it comes to sobriety or alcohol use disorder. So make sure if this is you and you are trying to get help, you go talk to your primary health care professional, or you talk to a community who is well versed in these things, or a healthcare professional who deals with alcohol use disorder. I'm just talking about things that come from my own perspective and things that help me. So, with that being said, I want to talk to you about one of the first things that bothered me, and that was urges. Urges came across pretty frequently. I drank for 20 years very heavily, and urges would come along and they'd tell you to do something called urge surfing. Urge surfing is the idea that when you have an urge, just sit there, recognize it, and ride with it, and distract yourself if you need to. Think about it. Think about, why am I having this urge? But confront the urge. Don't ignore it. Don't give into it. Reach out to somebody if you know somebody. If you're part of an online community, post about it. Talk to somebody in that community. Post on a forum. Do whatever you have to do. Listen to some music. Put on a sober podcast. There's plenty of podcasts out there that deal with sobriety. Listen to a playlist that you have made for yourself just to deal with moments like that. Meditate, do some breathing, but most urges don't last any longer than 15 minutes. And taking it second by second in those first few days is very vital. And anything you can do to get through minute by minute, second by second, hour by hour is extremely helpful. Something else that I learned that were triggers for me, it's an acronym that you'll hear a lot in the sober community, and it's called HALT. And then you have got to watch yourself if you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. So if you're going all day and you're working all day and you're feeling pretty good about yourself and you're distracted and you haven't really thought about drinking, but you also haven't eaten all day, well, if you get hungry, that is going to trigger the urge to drink. Or if you're angry, sometimes that will be a trigger for you. If you're lonely, if you're all alone, you're sitting alone, you're thinking about nothing else, and you have nothing else to think about except being all alone, that will trigger your urge to drink. And also, being tired, wearing yourself out is not a good thing. Make sure you are getting plenty of sleep, especially early on in sobriety. And you will also find out very early on in your sobriety what your specific triggers are. It may be a location, it may be a time of day, it may be right after you get off work, it may be your spouse saying something to you when you walk in the door, it may be cooking. For me, it was cooking a meal. I had to stop cooking meals for a period of weeks there because I would always want to reach for a drink right when I was cooking a meal. So find out what your triggers are. You may have to avoid them for a while. You may have to find a way to rewire those pathways in your brain until you can find a way to cope with them. And along those lines, taking care of yourself is so important. You have got to take care of yourself because no one else is going to. You have to watch out for you. And one of the things that was my problem was, I'm a people pleaser and I want to make sure everybody else was taken care of first. But one of the things I learned in sobriety is I had to take care of me. And I heard in a meeting, one of the first meetings I went to on the Reframe app, which I highly recommend to you, was someone said you have to treat yourself like a newborn baby. And your first day of sobriety is just like the first day you were born. And what does a newborn baby need in their first day? They need sleep and they need food. And so feed yourself and make sure you get plenty of sleep and make sure you give yourself plenty of attention. And what is day two like? Well, what's day two like for a newborn? It's the same thing. And as you continue to go on, understand that your body is getting used to a whole new world as it grows out of this alcohol into this alcohol free phase. And also something that's interesting too is this is a bit of a sidebar. People, when they say, I'm not going to drink anymore, that's an interesting way to put it. What is your why? Why are you not drinking anymore? Because I found it was a whole lot better for me to say, I am choosing not to drink anymore. And the sponsor that I had through Reframe, he said, I may drink someday. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. Because the second you say, I am never going to touch alcohol again, is the second you've hardwired your brain into tricking itself. And if you do slip up and if you do have a drink, then you have messed up that goal for the rest of your life. So it's better to always say, I choose not to drink today. And I'm not going to drink today. And I want to find people who are not going to drink today with me. So take care of yourself, have some goals, have a way to monitor your drinking. Also reach out and get some help, because I've said it once, I've said it several times on these videos. You cannot do this alone. If you are starting out brand new and you are white knuckling it and you're going to get through this and you're going to do this all by yourself, maybe you can. And I've heard stories from a couple of people along the way who've been able to do it by themselves. And I've also heard stories from people who said, man, I quit for about 6 months and I did it all by myself, but I went right back to it. You've got to get help, and get help from people who really know what's going on. That's why communities like Reframe are so important, because those people know exactly what you're going through. And if you get on a meeting, and even if you just sit there with your camera off and you listen to other people, you'll say, these are my people. They understand me and they know what the struggle's like and they know it's real and they get the journey that I'm going along too. I want to encourage you and say, I'm proud of you if you have stopped drinking. And if it's been a problem for you and you decide to go along this route, congratulations. I know Reframe also has a cutback track. If you're interested and you say, I don't want to stop drinking, but I want to cut back, they also have a cutback track as well. I'm not paid by Reframe, but that app did save my life and the people on there saved my life. But congratulations, and let me know down in the comments or reach out to me and let me know if you started new on your journey, and I wish you all the best.